Hello everyone, welcome to On the Block with Mem and Pete. We're glad you're here joining us for this video. Really appreciate you taking the time. Today we're going to be discussing XRP and Ripple, and I say that as XRP and Ripple because it is two separate things. We'll dive into that, what Ripple has in store and what XRP is, if it's centralized, if it's decentralized, and we'll dive into a lot of details about XRP and Ripple. Stay tuned.
So there's a lot of debate in the industry about whether Ripple is centralized or decentralized. It is centralized.
First, let's talk about what centralized and decentralized are for people that don't know.
So something that is decentralized, there is no central authority. For example, Bitcoin is decentralized. No one has control over the transactions. No one can interfere with what's going on the network. It's completely peer-to-peer.
There's nodes all over the world that are continually mining Bitcoin, and it's I'm not going to say impossible, but right now it's virtually impossible to attack it because there's no one centralized location that it could be attacked into for things to happen where information gets lost or anything like that. So that's a decentralized system.
Yeah.
And when you're looking at a centralized system, it's what we've had for years and years before blockchain came along, which is basically a company, let's say Facebook, has their own data farms. All of your data is in Facebook's data farms. And we all know that things like that can be hacked. For instance, we saw Home Depot get hacked.
Yeah.
We saw Equifax get hacked. We saw Target get hacked. And every time these places get hacked, information is stolen. Credit card numbers, identities, things of that nature. So that's the difference between centralized and decentralized.
Right.
But furthermore, beyond software, when you look at centralized versus decentralized, that's, I think, where the debate lies when it comes to Ripple.
Right.
So tell us why Ripple is centralized.
Ripple, I don't even look at Ripple as a cryptocurrency. It's a company. They, as a company, have control of the network and the XRP. So they can do things like freeze accounts. We've seen it happen before. They froze a previous employee's account who then left the company and forked the chain. They froze his money. So Ripple as a company...
That became Stellar, correct?
Exactly. Stellar was a fork of Ripple. So as a company, Ripple can, stop transaction, freeze accounts. It is completely centralized. But we all know that. It's not a secret. Like I said, Ripple is a company, not really a cryptocurrency in my eyes. So let's talk about the XRP, the token, and Ripple, because a lot of people don't really get it. I speak to people that are trying to tell me that XRP, the token, is going to go to $500 a token, which it doesn't even make sense. Just do the math, multiply the price by the coin supply, and if you multiply $500 by the coin supply and you look at the amount, it's just not feasible. It doesn't make sense.
So right now, as we sit here today, on November 21st, it is second, correct?
It has the second biggest market cap.
Yeah, it has the second biggest market cap. So it's worth talking about because clearly enough people believe in it to put a lot of money into it. So after Bitcoin, it has the highest amount of money in it, which is the market cap, the total market cap. And it's 43 cents, 44 cents?
Yeah, just under 50 cents, yeah.
Right? So it would have to, I don't even know how many X to try to get to something like 500. But let's not forget, during the bull run, it did go to $3.
Yep.
And just a couple of months ago, it actually shot up to over $1, and now it's come back down.
Yeah,
right?
I think it went to like 60 cents. From 30 cents, it just doubled on the news.
That was in the bear market.
Yeah, and that was on the xRapid news.
Yeah.
Right.
So that whole xRapid news came out, but here's where the confusion lies when it comes to Ripple and XRP. XRP is a token that Ripple can use.
Yes.
They don't have to use.
Right.
So within xRapid, this extraordinary piece of tech that they've built, they can use XRP in it, but they can also use Bitcoin in it, and Ethereum in it, and fiat in it.
Or create their own other token.
And they could create their own other token in it. But the way that cryptocurrency works and has worked ever since we've been in it, and we've heard stories of people that have been in it a lot longer than us, it moves on news, right? Just like it did I think it was a month or so ago when xRapid news came out, XRP shot up. Now, another thing that happens is not a lot of people do enough research. They just see the price moving, they put some money in, they ride the wave, and then they take it out, and they're like, okay, XRP, it made me money. It's amazing. Here's why it's amazing, because it's coming out with xRapid. But you should know the facts, and the fact is xRapid is a part of Ripple's tech, but it doesn't have to use XRP.
No.
So that's where the centralized company Ripple is different than XRP. I guess it's decentralized blockchain, but we could even talk about that.
Right. So here's the thing with Ripple. As a company, they have some great technology. Ripple Labs have 2 products right now. They're working on a 3rd one. So the 2 products they have is called xCurrent and xRapid. Now, xCurrent is being used by financial institutions, but it does not use XRP. So there is no XRP used in the xCurrent product. Now, xRapid, which they're trying to convince the banks and financial institutions to use, can use XRP. But do you know how many people are using xRapid? How many institutions are using xRapid right now? I think 1 bank. They have to convince the banks to come and use it. But the problem is, for a bank to use xRapid, what xRapid does is it will send funds globally in the matter of seconds. So a bank in Canada, for example, could send money to a bank in Japan in like 10 seconds.
So here's what the CTO, Stefan Thomas, here's how he explains XRP. It provides a single source of truth for the transaction counterparties while preserving the privacy of banking customers' identifiable payment information. So that was the quote. And it says, simply put, xRapid is a liquidity solution. Companies can swap assets in and out of XRP in order to move through Ripple's xCurrent payment protocol faster.
Right.
So let's jump to what xCurrent is, because I think we kind of skipped over that. The main goal of xCurrent is to provide interoperability between any and all currencies, not just cryptocurrencies. So that's a little different. Like, for instance, a company like Aeon or OneChain or Icon, they're a part of an interoperability alliance. And what they're trying to do is connect all blockchains. But these guys are not just trying to connect blockchains, they're trying to connect all currencies using xCurrent.
Yeah.
So xCurrent is supposed to be a way for any bank, any institution, any body to put in a cryptocurrency and take out whatever.
No, it's to put in fiat. It's to switch between fiat currencies. It's not really to do with cryptocurrencies.
I think it's both.
It's mainly fiat currencies.
Okay.
So like if you're a bank in England and you have British pounds, you can easily transfer the money to a bank in another country that has a different fiat currency and switch between them very rapidly. So there's no actual cryptocurrency being used with xCurrent. Like XRP is not being used in that. It's mainly for banks in different countries to switch between their local currencies. But that has nothing to do with XRP. So xCurrent is not connected to XRP at all. But xRapid is supposed to be XRP is supposed to be used for xRapid. But the problem with that is the volatility. So if I'm a bank and I want to move $1 billion across the world, and in the time that I transfer it into XRP and send it and they receive it, XRP drops down 10%, I lose a bunch of money. So it's hard for me to believe that banks are going to agree to use the XRP token to settle transactions. It's a bit far-fetched, but that's what they're claiming they're going to do.
Yeah. So here's a use case right here. So we've kind of talked about this in our videos, but a large remnant remittance providers such as Western Union and MoneyGram have begun piloting xRapid in their businesses. So I have a handful of others. So people or companies have already kind of started to test xRapid out. But it does that necessarily mean that XRP is being used within xRapid?
No.
They could just be using the underlying technology like underneath XRP, but they don't really need to use XRP itself. Because if Western Union is transferring dollars to dollars, it doesn't ever need to switch into XRP.
No.
Right?
No, technically no. Technically they don't have to use XRP. They could come up with they could make another token tomorrow and be like, we're using this token. Right? They could make a stable coin, which makes way more sense than using a coin like XRP, which is so volatile. It just, I don't know, it doesn't really make sense to me that the banks are going to just agree to use the XRP token, and they're not yet. It's just being tested. No banks, no major banks have been like, yes, we're going to use XRP and xRapid. That hasn't happened yet. That's what they're planning to do, and they're also planning to, like a lot of people saying that it's going to take over Swift. Just to put it in perspective, Swift has 11,000 clients. 11,000 companies are using Swift. For Ripple to take over Swift, they would have to 100 times the companies that they have signed up right now. They're using, I think, around 100. They've got about 100 partnerships with companies, which partnerships doesn't really mean anything. I mean, there's so many cryptocurrencies that have partnerships with like Microsoft, and they're not doing anything with Microsoft. It's just they're probably paying these companies to just say that they're partners. So
I don't know if Ripple does that, because Ripple is a little bit more mature in the way they handle things. I think they're. I
definitely think they're paying people, man. They paid Bill Clinton and Snoop Dogg to come on. Right? They're paying these companies for sure, man, and with a bunch of XRP or whatever to just claim that they're partners.
Okay. Yeah, you might be right. So here's banks that are going to be using XRP. So we could share the image as well. So I don't even know what some of these stand for.
I haven't heard of any of these banks.
MUFG, BBVA. I've seen that on, I think Real Madrid's jerseys have BBVA on them. SEB, I've heard of that bank. Akbank, which is actually a Turkish bank. AKBACK. Axis Bank, Yes Bank, SBI Remit, Cambridge Global Payments, Star One Credit Union, Easy Forex. So, I mean, I don't know if that list has gotten bigger, but I've also heard things about JP Morgan, but at the same time, JP Morgan is building their own blockchain, and I think they already have built their own blockchain. I think it's called Quorum. We'll share links to those articles below. But I mean, they do have, or they claim to have a lot of clients already. But again, guys, clients that are using xRapid.
Not many.
Right?
Not many. They're using a lot.
Okay, xCurrent, but that still doesn't mean XRP is being used.
It's got nothing to do with XRP.
So just be careful with that. Now, actually, we kind of wanted to touch on, is there blockchain, is there actual payment system, the xCurrent, is that decentralized?
No, none of what Ripple do is decentralized. It's a company.
That to us.
It's anything that's a company is centralized. So that's why, like Ripple and Stellar, even though I'm very bullish on Stellar as a company, I think they're going to do very, very well. They're centralized. There is no, it's not Bitcoin, it's not Ethereum. It is two companies. Like let's just talk about XRP and Ripple right now. It's a company that is in control of everything. So it's completely centralized.
So when you say in control of everything, I'm a bank. I have a load of money that I'm going to send.
Right.
To another bank. The other bank is Akbank in Turkey.
Right.
Shout out Turkey.
Yeah.
So I put my money into the xCurrent system and I send it across.
Right there. Right. You said it right there. You put your money into the xCurrent system. That's the centralized system. You can't just send your money across using their tech. Like it's just, you have to put it into their product, and then their product sends it. So their product is centralized.
So how is that different than Bitcoin?
What do you mean? You're sending Bitcoin is from you to me. There is no...
but I have to put my money into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But
you're buying Bitcoin off of another person.
Off of an exchange.
Off of an exchange.
Or off of another person on localbitcoin.com.
Right. and then you're sending it to that person, wallet to wallet. So that's completely decentralized. If you're putting money, if you're buying XRP and then using a system that comes under their company, then it's centralized. It's Ripple that controls all of it.
Right, but there is talk of, like, let's say Blockstream, right? They're developers on the Bitcoin network.
Right.
Some say that, you know, Bitcoin moves with Blockstream, so Blockstream gets to is controlling Bitcoin.
How are they controlling Bitcoin? They're developing the coin. They're not in control of transactions. They can't stop transactions. They're not in control of miners.
Right. So the main point here is with xRapid or xCurrent, I'm getting them mixed up now. However the money is being sent, Ripple has a way to stop that transaction from happening.
If they wanted to, yeah. They have full control of the network.
So it's not proof of work?
No, you can't mine Ripple. It's not a cryptocurrency, guys. It's a company. Like, that's what people need to understand. It's not a cryptocurrency. It is a company.
So is it a security? Would
No.
XRP be classified as a security?
If it was a security, it'd be worth money. But it's not a security. XRP is a utility token that really has no utility right now. If XRP was a security and was tied to the, say, digital shares of Ripple, then I'd be buying XRP right now, because it is going to go up with the company's success, but it doesn't work like that with a utility token. Ripple can succeed, and Ripple will probably succeed and make loads of fucking money, but unless they use XRP token within their system, what's the use case for it? Unless they're using XRP in xRapid, which they're saying they're going to do, unless the banks agree to it and all these financial institutions agree that the XRP token will be the bridge between the gap, which is very hard to believe because it's so volatile, then what is the use of the XRP token? It doesn't have a use case right now. It really doesn't. Unless I see concrete evidence that XRP token is going to be used in xRapid, for me, it's worthless. Now, Ripple as a company, they're beasts. They're rubbing shoulders with some of the biggest financial institutions in the world, and they have 100 partners. Yeah. But
and
it doesn't mean these partners
from like Mark Andreessen. Google was a backer in it. Like,
right, Ripple, yes, not XRP.
Yeah, Ripple and not XRP. So this is, look, guys, even my friends think I hate Ripple and XRP and all this stuff. Like, I'm saying I'm not a big fan of it because there's just this misconception about it. I mean, it could, there's a lot, it's a big market cap on Ripple, and we really don't know what will happen if the SEC comes in and says, this is a security.
Yeah, I mean, the way they raised money was in the way that you'd raise money for a security, but so was Ethereum, and they deemed Ethereum not a security.
Yeah. So Ripple probably was looking at that case like, thank you, thank you.
They're very compliant though. Ripple are very compliant with SEC and all the laws. They're staying on the right side of the laws, and they're trying to build something with these financial institutions, and they probably will. But it's just the debate is, will the XRP token be used?
Right.
We don't really know.
So now that you guys know all about that, like centralization, decentralization, what XRP token is, there is a third layer to it. We'll just kind of cover it. It's called xVia. And just like if you guys ever use WhatsApp, then you know that the user interface is pretty slick. So xVia looks to mask the complexity of facilitating payments through Ripple's other products. So it's just going to be like a nice little user interface where you can actually send money across. So that's what xVia is.
Again, it does not use XRP.
No, so that's like going to be the user interface for xRapid and xCurrent. So again, it really doesn't have a lot to do with XRP, the token. But now, having said all that and talked about all this, Pete and I, we have made a little bit of money on XRP before. I mean, when we first started out, XRP was at 3 cents. And it went all the way to $3. Now, I didn't hold it all the way to $3. I'm kicking myself for that. But it went from 3 cents to $3, and now it's come down to, what's it at, like?
Around 50 cents.
Around 50 cent mark right now. I haven't checked. But is there a way that it could go back up to $3?
100%.
Yeah, I mean, it's done it before. Nothing holding it back. In fact, right now it has. It's the second one. It's the first time it's second.
Yeah, it overtook Ethereum this week or something.
This is the first time that it's in second place in terms of total market cap. So now it's bigger amongst every other altcoin, right? Bitcoin is Bitcoin. Every other coin is called altcoin, and it's the biggest altcoin. So, and when we saw the crash happening in the last couple of days, last week or so, Ripple was holding strong for a long time. It held strong for the first three days, I'd say, and now it's starting to come down. But people were buying up Ripple and keeping it steady. So if you ask us, like, in a short term, again, not financial advice, but when you look at it short term, place to put your money into, Ripple doesn't seem like a terrible option because there's been so many great news about xRapid and xCurrent and all these partnerships, and the fact that not a lot of people know that XRP isn't really being used on all these. That's how most of us get kind of suckered into investing into XRP. Now, Ripple might be a grand old company and actually say, you know what, everyone that's been holding XRP this whole time, you guys have obviously helped us out in the company, provided us a lot of liquidity. For that, we're gonna, transfer these into shares in the company if they ever decide to do an IPO or something like that. They might do that.
Doubt it.
But they don't have to do that. You see what?
No.
You see where the conundrum lies now.
Yeah, man. Listen, XRP might be used one day, and xRapid might be adopted, and then it'll be a great investment. But I think short term, I think it's going to pump. I do think we'll probably see $3 again in the next bull run, maybe even a bit more. Long term, it's too hard to tell. Like, I wouldn't risk holding something long term that is just so up in the air. Mm-hmm. So,
and long term and short term mean different things to different people. So when we say long term, we mean years, because a lot of people came in about 11 months ago, a year ago, and they're like, I'm here for the long term, and then you see what's happening in the last week, and a lot of people are saying, go fuck yourselves, I'm out, I'm leaving, and long term meant 11 months for a lot of people. So when we say long term, we're talking years in time. But I mean, the market is still very small when it comes to crypto. News still moves a lot of the market, and XRP is still tied to Ripple. And as new people and new retail investors come into the market, they're going to see a coin like Ripple. They're going to see it's under $1. They're going to see it's affordable. They're going to see the bank partnerships. They're going to see the conversations Bill Clinton had at their conferences. They're going to see all these things, and they're going to say, okay, it's the second best one. It's under $1. I hear on Reddit that it's going to go to $500, so I'm going to buy it. All we're saying is just do your own research, because every person that's investing is investing for different reasons and differently. Well, obviously everyone's investing for the same reason, to make money, but everyone's going about it differently. You might be in it for a week, you might be in it for a decade. So depending on where you are, all we try to do is tell you how to do your own research and share the information that we have. So just be careful when it comes to Ripple.
Yeah, I've seen Ripple pump and dump so many times over the last 3 years. First time I invested in it was 3 cents. It went to 10 cents. I sold out at 10 cents. It went a little bit higher, and then it dumped back down to like 2-3 cents, and it sat there for a year. So it's pumped and dumped many times. It will pump, and it'll probably dump again many times. So, like Mehmet said, do your own research. Don't just jump on it because someone told you it's going to $500.
Yeah,
that's just
like, at the end of the day,
ridiculous.
This is your money that you're putting in, your hard-earned money, into cryptocurrency if you decide to go that route in the first place. But once you do, start to do your own research. Really dive into each of these coins, what their utility is, what they're doing, what the company's doing, how they're going to use the token, how they're going to use the coin. All these things, all these questions need to be asked before you take money out of your pocket and put into, the pocket of a company.
Also, if XRP goes to $500, every subscriber will receive 1 XRP.
We promise.
Cheers, guys. thanks guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. For more videos, check out this one right here on the whole hash battle that's going on with Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah, and please subscribe. You could do that by clicking this button here and ring that bell, and please
smash the thumbs up button.